Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR with the latest on the tropics, and it is getting active despite almost being October. You can see out there we have two weakening storms. On the edge of the screen here is Lorenzo, which moved inland earlier today as a hurricane in the same area pretty much as where Dean made its second landfall as a Cat 2 back in August. Out here is weak and very disorganized Tropical Storm Karen. It's going to be kind of a battle. If Karen survives, it could be an issue down the road for places further west, and off screen we have a new depression we'll talk about. First, here's Tropical Depression Lorenzo. Pretty significant weakening over the last 12 hours. It had been up towards 80 miles an hour, maybe a little higher than that. Came inland as a minimal hurricane. Winds are now 35, gusting to 45. It's moving west at 9, so it's speeding up, which is good news. Pressure 1,002 millibars, and when you look at the satellite imagery, you can see it starting to look less and less organized as it continues to push inland. Still some residual moisture over the Gulf of Mexico that should move inland into Mexico as the tropical depression continues to move west. Out in the Atlantic, here's Karen. And I guess that explains the frustration with this storm. 15.1 north, 49.2 west, 40 mile an hour winds, 50 mile per hour gusts. It's moving to the west northwest at 9 miles an hour, 1,009 millibars, and you can see the center has slipped a bit further north due to the wind shear, and it's expected to weaken and maybe even dissipate. If it survives, though, it could get pushed back west, maybe even a bit further south than this, and if it survives, it could re-intensify, maybe even into a hurricane, and begin to head more towards the west. In fact, even Cuba, the Florida Strait, real far west, this is going to be a strong ridge, and you can see the satellite there. It's not looking all that good. The center is right in here, and you can see some convection trying to fire, though. If it keeps pulsating, it'll survive. But the center relocation was not good for development. You can see the center a bit better on visible right there. And this is real frustrating because there is shear right in front of it, and this shear will continue. And if the center can make it through and get under that ridging, then we have a whole world of problems for an early October hurricane moving west towards the east coast, which is kind of unusual. You can see the model runs, once again, the hurricane center going in the middle, but if it remains weak, it'll probably go even further south than this, and based on the models, I'd have to say somewhere in here is probably a good bet. You can see the UK Met takes a dive almost to the southwest, as well as a few of the other models, the BAM taking a dive to the south, and we'll see just how strong the system is once it gets out here. If it's still a depression, it could easily come back to a strong tropical storm in about a day or so under those favorable conditions. You can see the wind shear again, though. It's not too favorable right out in front of it. It needs to break through this barrier, and right now it's got a lot to go through to survive. You can see TD14's develops at 14.1 north. Note that that's very high latitude, and the likelihood of this making it far west is not good at all. And winds are 35, moving west at 6, 1,008 millibars. You can see the track expected to become Tropical Storm Melissa, and then turn to the north under less favorable conditions. You can see the visible is very impressive. In fact, it may be a tropical storm later this afternoon if this keeps up. Notice the other wave moving off behind it. Keep an eye on this one. It's a bit farther to the south, though. And the IR is looking very impressive as well. So, yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility that we can't get a tropical storm later today. And even if it's spun up quickly, maybe something close to a hurricane. Remember how close, actually, Karen was briefly a hurricane for a bit yesterday. And so we'll see just how strong TD14 gets. You can see, again, the models are pretty good. Even though it's moving west right now, it should not get close to land at all, except for the Cape Verdes, which is close to already. Out in the eastern Pacific, we have an invest out here, and this is all starting to spin. You can see the convection here and very deep. Looks like this could do something. If it does become a named storm, I believe the next name is Juliet. So we'll see if we get Juliet out of this. And in the Western Pacific, there's nothing there right now, but certainly this is a very foreboding Godzilla-type thing here, and you're going to want to keep an eye on this. This could become a tropical cyclone over the next day or so. I'm Mike Naso from IPR. That's the latest on the tropics. I'll see you next time.